Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Finally, some beautiful weather down here in Australia. It's starting to heat up, isn't it? America, you're heading into winter in the UK, and of course everywhere else in the Northern Hemisphere heading into winter. It is heating up here in Australia, beautiful weather. But onto the topic at hand, Pokemon card investing, and in particular, all these videos and all this commentary we're seeing around a massive market crash at the moment. I'm here to restore some confidence in your sealed and singles Pokemon card investing by, I guess, adding a level of sensibility to the topic. Hey, if you're new here, my name's Michael /PokeOdds. We talk all things Pokemon card investing with a particular lens on the sealed investing side. If you've been tuning in for a while, I really appreciate it. The support means a lot to me. Thank you very much. So on to the topic at hand. And look, this is going to be one of those videos, other than looking at these images up here, which I'm going to display right now, other than looking at these images, you won't need to look at the screen. These are going to be on the screen the whole time, so no need to look. This is one of those videos where if you've seen this, you can pop your headphones in while you're going for a walk or a run. You can pop it on in the car while you're going for a drive, on in the TV while you're doing some housework at home. This topic is all about the crash that's happening, and there's a lot of noise about it. No matter where you look at the moment, when it comes to Pokemon card investing, it's pretty divisive, and there's a lot of talk about a crash coming or the crash happening. You see it if you hop onto Poke Investing on the Reddit forum. You see it if you hop onto Facebook groups. You see it if you've got a collector app, and that is the sponsor of today's video, of course, which I'll go into some more detail a little bit later. If you've got the collector app, you might see your collection perhaps retracing or losing a bit of value, or maybe stagnating and not going up like it drastically has in the last sort of 6 months. And there's just lots of conversation about a massive crash coming. You know, there's people saying, oh, what are you investor bros going to do now? And look, I don't mind being called that. Call me what you want. Like, I've been called worse by better. Hey, like, people call us names, you know, investor bros, whatever it might be. Across my YouTube journey of nearly 3 years now, I think I've been called just about every name under the sun. So, you know, nothing's going to affect us at this point. And look, I'm every bit as much a collector as I am an investor. For me, like, having individual pieces for my collection, and particularly sealed collecting, is really important. Like, I really enjoy sealed collecting. Of course, I have the investing side where I want to boost up my portfolio and add more value to it and make gains out of it. Like, it's such a fun investment. Like, we can invest in so many other products, whether it's stocks, whether it's property, whether it's physical gold, whether it's crypto if you're into that. But Pokemon just has that nostalgic, fun, artwork lens to it that I just can't escape. I just love it. I love that fun side of the investing in it. And these graphs here are going to add some normality to the massive amount of noise you've been hearing on this topic. As you can see, these are a couple of Sword and Shield booster boxes. On the screen here, I have Lost Origin and I have Evolving Skies. Two of the giants of Sword and Shield era. Now, when we talk about Sword and Shield era, the number one set that of course stands out is Evolving Skies, which I've got up here. The second the second biggest set you would think of when it comes to Sword and Shield era, although not at the start, certainly not, is Fusion Strike. And probably the third biggest box you'd think of is Lost Origin. So I've got 2 out of the 3 biggest booster boxes that you could have invested in the whole Sword and Shield era up on the screen here. And I want to show you why I think things are pretty normal at the moment. It's so funny, isn't it? It's like Pokemon has seen maybe a somewhere around well, I'll talk to you about my collector app. I'll bring up my collector app up on the screen here. This is my collector app. And I said you wouldn't need to see the screen, so I apologize for that, but I'll talk through it anyway. So if you do just have it on in the background, you'll be able to tell anyway. But my collector app has gone down about $3,000 over the last month. And it was sitting at about $60,500, and now, this is US dollars, now I think it's sitting about $57,500. So from 60.5 down to 57.5, that is about a 3,000 US dollar retraction in a month. And you might go, whoa, like, that's got to hurt, doesn't it? You've just lost $3,000 in a month. And it's like, well, hold on. No, it doesn't. Like, they're all unrealized gains. This is what you've got to remember. They're all just numbers on the screen until you sell them. And even if I did sell everything, I'd be so ridiculously far up, it wouldn't even matter. But they are just numbers on a screen. These are unrealized gains. These are unrealized losses. Nothing's happened. On paper and on a screen, numbers on a graph have gone down a little bit. And it looks drastic. And then you look at it and you go, well, hold on, $3,000 of $60,000 is 5%. So in the last few months, after seeing some ridiculous gains, somewhere in the realms of like 50% growth or 100% growth, we've retracted 5% on my personal collector app. I don't mind sharing my own personal data and numbers on here. You can look at it on the collector app anyway. It doesn't bother me. So we've retracted 5%. Or personally, I've retracted 5%. Maybe some people have weathered the storm, so if you even want to call it a storm, maybe some people have weathered this scenario a little bit better than I have. Maybe they've retracted their portfolio 2% or 1% or 3%. Maybe they've just stagnated and haven't seen the massive amounts of growth that we've seen in the last few months. But back onto the sword and shield giants. So here's what I'm getting at. All this conversation about a massive crash, I'm trying to, I guess, restore some confidence in people's collections, some confidence in people's mindsets, and just show them that it's not that bad. My personal collection down 5% after like an 80% growth in the last 3 months. Like, I shouldn't say whoop-de-doo, because at the end of the day, it's still $3,000, but keep in mind, it is just unrealized paper gains. Like, do not stress about it. And here's why. If we go back onto the sword and shield sets I have on the screen, you can see we've got Lost Origin and Evolving Skies, and both of them follow the exact same trend. I also did this with a few other booster boxes from Sword and Shield era. I picked the other big hitter, which is of course Fusion Strike. I even looked at probably one of those sets that sits in 4th and 5th, like Brilliant Stars and Chilling Reign, and we see the exact same data. I remember back in January, Fusion Strike rose, Lost Origin rose, and Evolving Skies rose like an insane amount. In the space of 2 to 3 weeks, we saw insane growth. And this was really the start of the pressure being put on this Pokemon investing market, this upward pressure. It coincided with Prismatic Evolutions being released, one of, if not the greatest Pokemon card set from the Scarlet and Violet era. Of course, 151 and Destined Rivals might have something to say about that, but that's what it coincided with. So much hype about another Evolution set. So much demand and drive into the market in January 2025. And we saw this massive jump. And then what do you know? After a massive jump, we saw a slight retraction, and then we saw it stabilize for about 2 to 3 months. Fusion Strike went insane. That's probably the biggest example of the three. And then you know what? It actually pulled back about 50 to 80 US dollars, its booster box price. And then it stagnated for a little bit. And you know what? 3 months later, and you can see it on these graphs with Lost Origin and Evolving Skies, it skyrocketed straight back up. And then what happened? Of course, it either stagnated or it retracted a little bit, all these big Sword and Shield sets, and then we saw that massive pump that we've just seen over the last 2 months or 3 months, where everything just went absolutely ballistic in a very short period of time. We had so much hype into the hobby. Destined Rivals had just come out. The black and white era was better than people expected. We've had Mega Evolution hit the shelves. And you know what? The last couple weeks, maybe 3 or so weeks, we've seen a slight retraction, but it's just the exact same as what we've lived for the last 12 months. It's like, why all of a sudden are people getting some negativity towards Pokemon card investing when we've seen this trend, the trend that's currently happening right now? Stagnation or a slight retraction in your seal collection, your slab collection, whatever it might be. We've seen it twice before this year. So it's happened 3 times. So roughly every 4 months in 2025, we've seen this exact pattern happen. Why is it all of a sudden that everyone's making a big song and dance about it? I guess what I'm trying to say in this video is I'm trying to return some of your confidence in Pokemon card investing. And moreover than that, it's funny how people want to buy as soon as everything starts pumping up. Like, let's take Evolving Skies just as an example. Or Lost Origin, it doesn't matter which one, but 2 months ago when it started absolutely skyrocketing, that's when people wanted to buy. It's like there's this weird mentality. Oh, Evolving Skies and Lost Origin have both gone up $100. I better buy it. Because I'm going to miss the boat if it goes up another $100 or another $200 or $400 or $500. What if Evolving Skies gets to $3,000 in the next 2 months? I'm going to miss the boat unless I buy it. It's just rocketed up $100 US. And then the opposite happens. These booster boxes like Evolving Skies might retract $100 US or $150 US or $200 US. I haven't done the exact numbers. Whatever it's retracted, somewhere probably in the realms of $100 to $200 US in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And everyone goes, oh, I'm scared of buying it now. And look, in some regards, I do sort of get that mentality. I get that mentality in the way that there's an old saying, you don't want to catch a falling knife. And that's where I think people get scared off of buying, because they go, okay, it's just dropped 150 US dollars. I don't want to buy now because what if it drops another 150 US dollars? I think I can say with a fair level of confidence, these sets are getting rarer. If you are holding Sword and Shield booster boxes, whether it's Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, Evolving Skies, Brilliant Stars even, which in my opinion is an underrated set from Sword and Shield, these sets will go down in history as great Pokemon card sets, particularly Evolving Skies. Like realistically, with Evolving Skies total set value, which is well north of 6,000 US dollars as a raw total set value, name a better Pokemon card set or a better top 10 hits from a Pokemon card set in the last 15 years. It's pretty damn hard to do. You might argue maybe Call of Legends, but that doesn't even keep up with Evolving Skies. You might go all the way back to Black and White era and go, well, Dragons Exalted had some damn good hits. You might go to Sun and Moon era and go, well, Team Up and Cosmic Eclipse had some stellar hits. But they still don't have the same total set value as Evolving Skies. And look at where those boxes are now that they're older. Like, look at where Dragons Exalted from Black and White era is. It's untouchable in price. It's the most expensive Black and White booster box because it has the best hits inside it. Look at where Cosmic Eclipse and Team Up are from Sun and Moon era. And Team Up has far eclipsed Cosmic Eclipse because of its eclipsed Cosmic Eclipse, funny little saying that, because of how rare it was. And personally, I think Cosmic Eclipse has the nicer top 10 hits. I think it's just because Team Up was so short printed, we've seen massive increases in the price. A separate topic to discuss, but some people might agree with me, some people might disagree with me. Point still remains though. Evolving Skies is one stellar Pokemon card set. And the fact it's retracted, it baffles me that people are so willing to buy when things are rising so rapidly, but the moment they start dropping a bit and the product represents better value, they get scared off from it. I don't know. Is that a strange concept to you? Because in some regards, it is to me. And look, say you buy Evolving Skies now after the retraction, like what does it come back? Maybe 8% or something in price? That's representing much better value than what it was 3 weeks ago when everyone was buying it. Like, it makes no sense, does it? And like, what's the worst that happens? You buy it at this price, if you've got heaps of money and you're a big investor, and then it drops another 8%. Isn't it not a bad idea to buy it again and like dollar cost average at that position if you're into buying Evolving Skies, that is, at this price? It's just funny how that happens. It baffles me. Little interlude because I'm waffling along here, and which isn't a bad thing because this is one of those videos where I said just tune in and listen. But quick shout out to today's video sponsor, which is of course the Collector app. You can follow my journey down below. There's some awesome new features. There's now a social tab where you can follow people's social activity on there. There's if you sign up to be a pro user, there's awesome giveaways for pro users. You can have awesome filters now in your portfolio tab. So rather than just filtering through your most expensive products, you can see what market movers you have, both negative and positive, hopefully positive coming into the holiday season. And finally, in the bottom right, when you sell something now, you can actually type in what you've sold it for. So you can type in your realized gains. So the Collector app, again, link in the description to download it. Such a good app, particularly when we're talking about this topic. Now, talking about this topic and coming into Christmas time, holiday time, the other thing you've got to remember is people's funds do start being dispersed elsewhere at this time of the year. It's a very expensive time of year. There's so much going on. People are saving up for summer, or in Australia, of course, summer holidays. In America, people are saving up for the holiday season anyway, winter getaways. We've got Christmas around the corner. Most people our age with the money to spend on Pokemon cards probably have a family. They probably have kids and families that they want to take on vacation, that they want to spend money on Christmas presents. It's completely normal this time of year that we see this slight retraction in the hobby. So again, that's another reason not to get stressed about it. And finally, I want to give you two last positives to take away with you when it comes to this fear around some sort of crash happening. The first one being, don't forget, 30th anniversary is just around the corner. Phantasmal Flames is also just about to come out with arguably the nicest Charizard card we've seen in a long, long time. Now, I'm on the fence about this set. I do think it's a bit of a two-hit wonder with just the gold Charizard. and that SIR Charizard, but you cannot take away from how damn good looking a card that Charizard SIR is. It's a phenomenal looking card, and people will want to chase it until the cows come home. Pull rates are going to be an incredibly important factor to Phantasmal's Flame's success. I have done a video on that a couple of videos ago, which you might want to bring up. It's not the topic of this video, but my point is, we're about to have a Mega Charizard come out that people are just going to want to chase. People are going to be ripping product. We've also got 30th anniversary coming up, which is going to keep people in the hobby. And the second point I wanted to make about restoring some level of confidence and cancelling out the noise, actually there's two more points. The first one being just how big an IP Pokemon is. Like, don't forget how big it is. Like, it eclipses massive IPs like Disney and Star Wars by a massive amount. It is one of the biggest IPs I think you will ever possibly see on this planet. Like, of course, time will tell, but it's crazy how big it is. And the last one I wanted to talk to you about is how important it is to hold sealed product. Like, this is just a blip on a very, very large graph. People are stressing about the tiniest fraction of time. Don't forget, Pokemon card sealed investing, one of the #1 rules is it should be at least a 10-year hold. Like, don't stress about this small blip on the radar. Like, out-hold everyone else. That's my plan of attack. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm Michael, this is Pokeoz, and I'll catch everyone next time.